Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm doing a blind flight tasting of 3 amazing blended malt Scotch whiskies. So I'm going to change my format up a little bit today. Usually I introduce the bottles and give you the history of them all before I get into the nosing and tasting. I'm just going to introduce them real quick, get right into the nosing tasting, and then where I normally do my 10-minute intermission, come back and taste them again, I'll give the history and stuff during that intermission. So the 3 bottles we've up today are the Naked Grouse, Monkey Shoulder, and Jane Walker from Johnny Walker. So these are the 3 we have up today. Get in here, call this glass A, we'll go ABC. On the nose on A, really bright, clean, malty nose. Maybe a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of a butter cookie aroma on that. So glass B on the nose. Alright, this one has some fruit on the nose. Can definitely smell the maltiness though, it's nice. Definitely a little darker than A on the nose. But I would think that fruit aroma I'm getting, it does seem like a sherry aroma and all that, so I'll get into what these are comprised of, but there is some sherry involved in some of these. So. Glass C. Oh, this one's a great combination of the first 2. It has some of that fruity, what I might think of a sherry aroma, but it definitely has the sweet cookie or honey nose on that, I should say. But maltiness on all of them. Nice, pleasant aromas. Go in and do a taste on A. Cheers. All right, it's got a pleasant amount of spice on there. The spice lingers. Definitely prickly on the tail end, on the tongue, top of the tongue. But it has some sweet. I know I got some cookie aroma. The butter cookie or shortbread cookie aroma on that. A little bit of sweet on the taste. Maybe along those lines. I'd say more of a honey than the cookie taste on that. But very pleasant. Very pleasant. Go with glass B on the taste. Cheers. Alright, it has the same prickly spice on the finish that A had. It seems a little bit more warming. I don't know if it's higher proof or not. These are all fairly close in proof, honestly, though, so it's not a proof thing. But definitely get a little bit of a wood influence on there, and I would say I get a sherry note on the taste also. Yeah, nice sweet on the front of the tongue, nice fruitiness, some oak on there, spice on the back end. Very enjoyable. C on the taste. Probably the least amount of sweetness of the 3. I do get some wood influence on this one also. I do get some warming on that, so I'd say B and C are definitely warmer than A. The fruit on it is not as pronounced as B, so there is a little bit of fruit there, but it's really more oak and more grain. So there we go. I'm going to let these sit, build up some more aroma, and I'll come back and taste them again and pick my favorite for the day. But while those are sitting there, I'm going to go over the history of these. And feel free to skip past this. I'll put the time markers down in the description of the video, so you can skip right from the round one of the nosing and tasting to the final round and results, and skip over the history if you're not interested. But what we've got Jane Walker by Johnny Walker. Comes in this nice box. A lot of history written all over this box. But this is the only age stated one of the three. This is a 10-year age stated Scotch by Johnny Walker. Jane Walker was originally introduced in 2018, and it literally was just Johnny Walker Black that was rebranded as Jane Walker. They kind of revamped that and rethought that. And in 2020, Diageo, who owns Johnny Walker, came out with a couple of whiskeys that were really celebrating women in the spirits or the whiskey industry, and they revamped this Jane Walker, and it now is a different blend than Johnny Walker Black. Like I say, it is aged 10 years. It's blended by their master distiller, Emma Walker. It's blended mainly of Cardew Scotch, but it's also got some Clynelish in there, and various other Scotches that Diageo owns. So, but the primary one is Cardew, and that's where kind of the history of this comes from too. The Cardew distillery was originally owned by John and Helen Cumming, and he passed away. And instead of selling off the property with the distillery and all that, Helen decided to keep it going, and became one of the first real women distillers in the whiskey industry. She kept it going. She had I think eight kids and 50-something grandkids, and kept it in the family. It passed down to a daughter-in-law of hers, Elizabeth Cumming. And she sold it to Johnny Walker in the late 1800s. But between when John Cumming died, Helen, his wife, who kept the distillery, did eventually relocate it farther up into the hills, away from the taxmen. And the original site and stills were sold to William Grant, and eventually that site became the Glenfiddich distillery, so that's where that was opened up. But Cardew, moved up higher into the hills, and like I say, it was eventually sold to Johnny Walker. And this does come in at 41.9% alcohol by volume, ABV, and which is I think the middle range of the low alcohol here. So, all right, next up we have Monkey Shoulder from William Grant and Son, and the same William Grant that bought the original Cardew distillery from the Cummings. And this was originally comprised of a blend of 3 malts that William Grant and Son distilled, and that is Glenfiddich, Balvenie, and Kinenvy. And it was that way. It was those 3 malts went into this alone for years and years, but I think now they actually are bringing in some malts from some of their other distilleries. This one comes in at 43% ABV, which is a little higher than Jane Walker, so this one's the highest ABV in the batch. And the third one we're tasting here today is the Naked Grouse, and this is from the Edgerton Group. They own the whole Grouse lineup, and this is a blend of things like Highland Park and Macallan, which are also owned by the Edgerton Group. So definitely some hitters in this, and this is aged exclusively in first fill ex Oloroso sherry cask. So this one has a strong sherry influence, some of the other scotches and those other ones may have some sherry influence in some of their barrels. A lot of them are blends, are batched together with spirit that was aged in bourbon barrels, or French oak or sherry barrels, that sort of stuff. So, but this one comes in at 40%, so this is the lowest proof, but very small range of proof here, 40 to 43. So they're all very close. And as I mentioned, these are all blended malts. So a lot of times people think of blended Scotch whiskies, and most often those contain some grain whiskey. And obviously they can distill grain whiskey in column stills much faster and cheaper than they can distill single malt whiskeys. These are all blends of single malts, so no grain whiskey in here. These are all just blends of single malts from the same distillery. And oddly enough, the Monkey Shoulder, I forgot to mention, this is actually marketed as a blended malt. It's marketed for mixing, so which I find a little odd. I mean, it actually drinks very well on its own. You certainly can mix it. You can make mixed drinks out of these, but they do actually market this, especially here in the United States, I guess, as a Scotch for mixing. So, okay, talked about these enough. Let me uncover them, go back through, give them a quick nose and a taste, and I'll tell you which one I like today. So, starting with Glass C. Cheers. Definitely, this one has some sherry influence. Now, I got some sweet right on the front of the tongue on that one. I might have said it had the least sweetness of these when I went through in the other order. So I'll probably find the other two are sweeter. But, it has the oak presence. It has the sherry. The sherry spice. It has the little bit of warmth. Nice, but nothing really stand out on that one. Go with Glass B. And I hope I mentioned, but these are in random order mixed up. So then, this is a semi-blind flight. I obviously know what's in them, but I mixed them up. So they're not in the order these bottles are sitting on the table. So they could be, but hopefully they're not. Yeah, this one, very similar to C. I think it is a little sweeter. The warmth is there. Spice isn't hitting me so much on the back end, but I think I do rank B just a hair above C, just a hair. But crazy similar, honestly. Give Glass A a whirl here. Yeah, this is definitely lighter than the other two. Doesn't have that sherry influence so much. More malty on the nose, more malty on the taste. Definitely some sweetness there. Different, both great. But I'm gonna put B as my favorite today. And really, as close as B and C were, I'm gonna go B, C, and then A. I could see on any given day, I might have ranked A first if I was looking for something a little sweeter, a little lighter, and all that. But I'm just really digging the sherry notes on these. So yeah, so B's my leader. one thing I didn't mention, I don't think any of these really have any peat in them. These are all non-peated blended malt whiskeys. Pretty much all from the Speyside area. Well, I know, which one did I say? The Edrington group. This one, which has Highland Park. Obviously, that's not from Speyside. But most of them are Speyside single malts that have been blended together. So not peated. And yeah, and all just very, very clean and light. So, all right, let's go through and see what we have. Glass A is the Monkey Shoulder. Let's see which way I wrote that. MS Monkey Shoulder. So A is the Monkey Shoulder. C, my second place, is the Naked Grouse, and that means that glass B, my winner today, or my favorite today, is the Jane Walker. So Jane Walker just squeaked past the Naked Grouse. These guys were so tight, honestly. This one had a little bit more sweet, I think. Had a little bit more tingling spice on the finish. They both were warming. Both had a sherry influence for sure. But yeah, definitely. There we go. So interesting results. All right. As always, you can find me on Instagram.com/prescriptionbourbon. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/prescriptionbourbon. Have extra content on there, extra videos, extra discussions going on, various different things. I'd love to see you there to join in on the discussions and all. Leave some comments on this video if you're familiar with any of these and you like them or don't. Or there's some other ones. I know Johnny Walker does have Johnny Walker Green, which is also a blended malt whiskey. It would fit right into this lineup, but it's twice the price of these. I guess I didn't cover prices, but all of these are in the $30 to $35 price range. So these are all within $5 of each other. Between 30 and 35, whereas Johnny Walker Green would be up to the $60 to $70 price range. So wanted to keep this low, keep these in the same ballpark for the competition. But yeah, leave some comments on the video down below. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. Remember, everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon. And Scotch is some pretty great stuff too. Cheers.